you. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Diego, architect, and I studied in the Polytechnic of Turin, but my real passion has always been around parametric design and prototypation. All my knowledge started since I did all the entire Arturo Tedeschi course in presence in Milan, and it was 2017. And today I'm glad to show you my whole process for clay printing. I started to approach with clay about 1-2 years ago. Before that, I had just a normal experience in standard FDM and resin printing and other CNC machine like laser and mill. I tried to understand the clay printing by myself, studying the book of Diego Cuevas. And after that, I decided to follow his course, online course, and another one by PA Academy, led by Joseph Stoger. After these two courses, I tried to merge all the parts in a unique grasshopper definition. So from the basic shape until the printing. So give me one moment that I share my my window. Okay. Just one moment. Oh, sorry. I have to share all the window. Schermo intero. Okay. Share. Okay. Oh, Arctic. Okay. So the topic is, as you can see, clay 3D printing. All my definition start from the base mesh. It's a simple. I start from a simple shape that I can manage through the graph mapper, and I can set the diameter and the height of my shape. After that, I try to apply a trigonometric effect based on sine and cosine using the Nautilus plugin. I show you. Okay. Nautilus plugin permit to apply a noise on the surface and use the trigonometric function on this noise. So wait that I close the preview. It work on the black and the white noise. After that, I suggest to work on quad mesh. Okay, because it has less issues during the next step during contouring and the next step. Quad mesh can be very perfect for this. So it's in this step I have a mesh in the input, and I have to use quad mesh to obtain a clean B-rep. This is the B-rep that permit all the entire process to have a good G-code for 3D printing. There are some issues on the top and the bottom of the shape. As you can see, it's not perfectly on the plane. So I used a not elegant trick, cutting the imperfection in the base and on the top. It is not elegant. There are several kind of way to fix that, but it is very quick. So after have the base shape, wait that okay. This is the process in which I go to slice all my shape. As you can see, with the contour, I can set the distance between each level, and I slice all the shape. But if you use a 3D printer, you know that there is the settings called base mode. Base mode is a work on a spiralized pattern, on a unique path. But before doing that, I suggest to align the start and end point. For example, here I have a little bit mistake because I have to flip the path in the second part of my shape. Aligning start and end point, it's a good way to avoid other issues during the G-code compiling. Okay. I will be very quick here because I decided to not show the entire definition, because I took it from the two online courses that I followed, but I show you the process. After I have all the slice, this section permit me to have a unique path like base mode. Oops, sorry that okay. Here it is. Okay. As you can see, now all the level are like a spring. It's a unique path from top to bottom. And this is the vase mode that you can obtain through other software slicer like Cura or Simplify 3D. Okay. But now I have the entire shape, but I need to set the base layers. And for that, there are some trick, because during the dry process, the water evaporate, and there are too much forces that can crack the base layer. So I decided to work on different kind of layers and obtain something like an isotropic structure. For example, I usually do four layers, two with the base shape offsetted to the inner, and other layers do by this kind based on differential growth, and this one that I call serpentine. And this is the final path that it will be translated in G-code. So here there are the four layers. Okay. It is possible have a little bit preview of the final shape. Okay. Using multi-pipe. And through this preview, I can see if there are issues on the path, or for example, here there is a little bit problem that usually I fix by hand. So I export the path and I erase the wrong part of the final path. The yeah. After that, I show you the final results. This is the merged paths, and there is the last step is translate it in G-code, and oh, sorry. Okay, I suggest to use Droid plugin that transform a grasshopper in a slicer software. So wait, that generating G-code. In these two yellow panel, you can set the start G-code and the end G-code. And the last component, Droid G-code generator, merge the start, your path G-code and then the G-code. After that, you simply copy this G-code, copy and paste this G-code in a text file. changing the last three, the extension of the file in G code. Yeah, this is the generated G code. Oh, sorry. Okay. While it processing, I show you the final results. But 3D printing is very interesting. For example, okay, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, this is oh wait, okay, the shape printed and the final results. I did a last example. If you need this slide, Brian, you can provide to share it. And this is my last attempt with dark clay. It's like chocolate. And today I finished. I don't know if you can see in not in sharing, but in my window, all the base is cracked. This is my first attempt with dark clay. So,
This is really beautiful. I actually have some questions for you. So,
yeah,
someone asked, "Is this Cerambot or something like that?" I'm not sure if you know what that is. Ceram bot, like ceramic bot.
yeah. You print the clay. After that, you mm, you put it in the oven in the kiln, and after the first uh, 10 12 hours in the kiln, you have to put the glaze. After that, another 10 12 hours in the kiln, and you have the ceramic vase.
So I also have
For
a question
I,
here, which is, how do you account for the amount of shrinkage after drying or firing? Like, how do you compensate for how it shrinks, how it gets smaller?
uh, sorry, it, okay. The final, sorry, Brian.
Yeah, no
Okay.
worries, no worries.
I didn't understand the question, sorry. The
So
final,
yeah, so when you print this, how do
yeah.
you take your, like, how are you compensating for it becoming smaller or bigger when when it dries or when you're firing?
Okay. So the 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 the, um, the big issues during a print is the collapsing. So, firstly, you have to choose a shape that it is more comfortable with the properties of the clay. The clay usually during the dry process and the kiln retire about 5, 8, 10% of his shape, not more. So you have to try, and because different clay have different properties. It is a
Yeah,
long
it's a
approach
trial
with
and error.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. I'm really impressed. Firstly, by your organization in the script. Um, I would not have the patience to do this.
It's
So it's very admirable, and it's very
you are
impressive. So congratulations
yeah,
on this. this masterpiece of a script. I kind of envy you right now, so that's a good sign. That's really
Thank
cool.
you,
I think
Brian.
everyone in the chat is really, they're kind of shocked, which is cool, which is good to see, man. Yeah, man.
Sorry
Awesome.
if I am a little bit rusty with English.
No, man. No, man. I totally get it. And no, your English is fine. Your English is fine. And I found it really funny how you're aware that some steps have to be kind of intervened, like creating the base for this design.
Yeah,
It's funny because that happens to me all the time. I'm like, I try to create the script to be perfect, but sometimes the time or the frustration wins wins you over, and
yeah, but
and having that, for example, you showed the interior where you had that little like where it kind of sticks out when you did the multi pipe. um
yeah,
that's happened to me so many times during 3D printing. um but I've noticed that if you remove duplicate lines, because for some reason sometimes Grasshopper creates duplicate
yeah,
lines, so most of the times you have to kind of clean up. And even so, because of the radius and the angles between the curves, it generates these really strange volumes, which are very frustrating. But I guess that's kind of the beauty behind the script as well, that it's not always perfect, and it's quite comforting that there are these errors.
I will fix it very soon, but it's a long work. Reach the perfection in a definition. I
Yes, it's awesome.
stopped the sharing.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I think you've intimidated us all, me included, which is good, man. I love to see it, and I'm glad you could share your work, and I don't know, I found it quite fascinating. Um,
Thank you, Brian,
it's really cool. Okay, we're gonna
and
jump
thank
straight
you.
into the next person. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna randomly pick. There's no order. I'm gonna go for
I have
Sam.
a
Sam there.
yeah. Could I have to hop out around 12 around in about
Okay.
30 minutes.
Okay, if you can go, man. Let's start sharing. Then yeah, let it rip.
Um,
Everyone in chat, like I'm reading your comments. So if you have
is
any
it? Here
questions,
we go.
I can ask them. And that'd be really cool.
So I can't
Yeah,
get
it
the
is.
actual
It is for people who did
script
the
open. It's a little bit
param.
too long, so I'll keep this relatively brief. Um, it's not a super complicated script. It basically where this idea comes from for this script is uh, it's working in a community that has been divided by the interstate system in the U.S. And yeah, can you see the? Um, sorry. Yeah. Um, you see it now?
No,
Um, no, I'm just no. Can we see that? I think my connection also may. You see it now? My connection may just be bad. Um,
If you'd like, I can share your work, and then you can talk over.
yes,
Um,
that would be good.
okay, give me a second.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. This happens to me all the bloody time. So you sent me 2 images. Is this correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to start sharing the script first. So bear with me very briefly. Um, share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
Awesome.
So the script itself is actually pretty simple. Really, all I'm doing is creating a grid of rectangles and then finding the midpoint of that, and then creating a circle with a certain value. So that value is what's really important in this. Is it's coming from a song that is sampled, and the song itself is coming from across the street. There's a uh, famous music university. It's Fisk University in Nashville, and the people who gave Nashville is the name of the music city, and the people who gave the name to the city is the people who went to this university. They performed. So the song I picked is "Wade in the Water." It's a traditional song sung by, at the time, would have been slaves, and but the first time it was brought into kind of recording history was at this university. The song itself is talking about the um, actually how slaves would escape from captivity in the South and would migrate up to the North. Waiting in the water would get the scent off of them so the dog couldn't follow them. But it's a very famous song, and I'm trying to tie this project back into the community because that's really important. So the size of the holes in the screen are defined by plotting these points on the waveform of the song, and then that the amplitude of that point defines each size of each hole. So the larger project is more of a master plan that is an interstate cap. So bringing this community back together that's been divided by this interstate system and stitching it back together. And for the building itself, really bringing that element of the community and the history that that community has in music um, into the design itself. While it acts as kind of that callback to the history of the site, it also just provides the elements like screening from heat, sound, and providing privacy to the residents. Um, all the parts that are operable are changing depending on the community spaces and the rooms, just allowing for the balconies that are behind the screen to maybe open themselves or close themselves off more or less to the outside world. So it's really more is a pretty simple way of going about it. And this was actually for a studio project in school. I'm currently a fourth year student uh, in university. So yeah. Thank you. Oh, sorry, you were cutting in and out. I believe what the component is that I can. It's a component from I believe it's Firefly. Um, it's just it's basically I input a song and all it does is um, plot point it plot points along the waveform of the song. So however loud or quiet the song is, it's kind of how that sine graph of the song displays itself, and it just gives me a list of those data points, and then I just set them to sort themselves kind of on that rectangular grid or square grid.
Okay, that's really cool. Sorry, I'm just looking like I'm looking at the. Did you do this render? Is yours right?
Yes. Um,
That's I'm digging it, man.
I
So
have
I'm just kind of like looking at the script and the final image. I'm like, whoa.
I also just shared a link in the call. That's to the I have a project book that kind of goes through the entire project and not just the screen and Grasshopper. It's a fully developed kind of school project. So yeah, so the render is done in twin motion. Love twin motion. Um, it's
Nice.
kind of the two things I think I really try to work on is my rendering abilities and my Grasshopper scripts.
Yeah, and your explanation. So I'm not sharing my screen, but I am sharing on stream your ISU document. I really like the graphs as well. You're in your fourth year, you said, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the ISU document. This is fascinating. Are you a musician by any chance?
My what?
A musician.
I am not. I did get. There is a. I'm good friends with someone in my school who makes music.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him a little bit about it, but he helped me some with that decision, and then also just a lot of research papers about music relating to architecture.
So did you ever contemplate using some other form of data instead of music, or was music kind of your first choice? Or did it
For
come?
this, music was really where I started because it's the music city, and the site itself is has such a strong connection to that fabric. And before this, we went and did community engagement with the residents, and this used to be a street that was lined with bars and music halls and all this. And when the interstate came through, it kind of killed that culture.
Yeah.
So calling back to that culture was really a very obvious idea, and I got honestly, I got kind of lucky being able to bring that data in such kind of a clean way to make such a honestly simple script.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that kind of like, yes, I found a component that can kind of do this,
Hmm.
this idea, bridge the idea with the actual development of the script. Oh man, well, congratulations on this, man. This is something to cherish for you, I guess.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Cool. The guys in chat are quite wild as well. Amazing work, man. Honestly,
Thank you.
cool guys. Very cool. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the next person. Thank you, Sam. This is really truly is beautiful one. I'm going to share it so everyone can kind of see your work. Remember, if you guys can send me an Instagram message, and I'll tag you guys in these stories afterwards. Cool.
And thank you so much for selecting me and having me on here to present my work. It's really been an honor. I really enjoy you and your work. It's really great.
Oh, the pleasure's mine, man. I'm kind of feeling imposter syndrome right now, so it's humbling, which is good. Okay, guys, let's jump into the next person. Is there someone who wants to go next, particularly, or shall I just kind of pick? No, I'll go and pick. Aliaksandra, am I saying this correctly? Yeah, I'm horrible with names.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Aliaksandra. I'm from Poland, and I'm an architect, but I also have finished postgraduate in Spain in Zikurat, and it was a course of parametric design and BIM. And yes, maybe I can ask you to share my project too, because I have like some problem to share it because I don't have it on my laptop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, for some reason, if I share my screen, my audio cuts out, but that's fine. You can talk, and then I'll kind of go through. Give me a sec. Okay, there we go. Bear with me 1 second, and I'll share my screen, and I'll just stop talking, and you can continue. I think I'm sharing my wrong screen. 1 sec. I'm sharing the wrong screen. My bad. Okay, there we go. You should be able to see my screen. Yeah.
Yes.
All
I
yours.
should start that my code is like simple, and it was my goal. I tried to find a very minimalistic form and use Grasshopper to make it in a very simple way. And I also, the goal was also to use BREP and volumetric Voronoi. We can see it on the left. And yes, and I think I have done it. I don't know, do you have some question? Because it's really simple code. And yes, and I would like to maybe explain my idea, because how did I say, I was focused on minimalistic form, and I wanted like to show that minimalistic it's also about useful and beautiful. I'm inspired like by nature, and in this way I use like sea word and use like structure of jellyfish, how we can see it. If we are talking about function, I think now we have like a lot of stress, and everything is a little bit chaotic. And that's why it should be place for like resting, to be alone, and to be close to water and to nature. That's why I like I created it. And like every time I try to find something and connect it with environment, with nature, and in this way I did it too.
It reminds me of like a bubble, which
Yes,
is what
yes,
you're
yes.
I guess what you're going for here. And it's really interesting because Voronoi kind of form naturally in nature, just by definition, I
Yes.
guess. Because Voronoi, at the end of the day, it's like the maximum surface with the minimum. Sorry, the other way around. It's like the perfect distribution of surfaces between points, essentially. And it's, I don't know. And it's this like, did you use multi-pipe for this? Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see. It's interesting to see what's happening in these nodes.
Yes, I tried to find like a good angel and a good like way how to connect it, and I also used sort list to find this value, but
Yeah,
I didn't send it, but yes, I used yes.
I love it. Yeah, and I really like the simplicity of the script, and also something that happens to me all the time. Let's see if I can put it up here. Is sometimes I get these little errors as well. They're not really
Yeah.
they're not really errors. They're just like Grasshopper asking you, "Are you sure?"
Yes.
Which is funny. Which I have them all over my scripts, and it's really funny because it's like, yes, I'm sure. Stop being a pain in the ass. You know, you understand me
Yes,
perfectly.
exactly.
Don't act as if you don't understand. And it's really cool. It's really cool. And then sometimes it's scary to use multi-pipe because sometimes it kind of throws, it kind of generates some errors um, like what happened to Diego. And yeah, I don't know. When I see scripts like this, I'm like, it's simple, but it's not. It's like what's really happening is quite complex, and I find that really interesting, and I really like this comparison between like the Medusa and the and like this Voronoi structure. I don't know. It's really cool, and the little
Thank you.
renders as
But
well are
but tell the truth, I would like to develop this script and to do some analysis
yeah,
about this form, the light and everything.
yeah.
And I think it's only the first step.
Have you tried of 3D printing this?
No, but I would like to do it. Really, I didn't have opportunity, but I think I will do it because it's really
Yeah.
like
I think you could.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
think you could. The Perhaps the difficult part in the 3D process here is kind of getting these angles because if it's too horizontal, it's not going to print properly.
Yes.
So you would probably have to make them thicker. But other than that,
Hmm.
I think it would work. It would work fine. So yeah, if you have the opportunity, that'd be great. I'd personally love to see it anyway.
I will give you to know. I will send
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Just send it my way. I think that'd be really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, this is awesome. I like it. I don't know. When I see scripts like this, it's just like it's nice. You get that nice little feeling, and when you see it so simply, because sometimes you don't really need complex scripts to produce, an attractive design or an attractive render or image. Um, so this is kind of like the perfect example, which is like fitting for this, I guess. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is brilliant. Really, really cool. I think I got a message on my Google Meets that the Google Meets is going to die. So I'm just going to create another meeting and I'm going to share this in the chat. Don't worry, the stream, people on stream will not be able to see this link. So if you guys could just join that stream, if like those who have presented, you can stay or you can kind of leave, whatever you guys want. I'm going to be uploading this talk on YouTube with your permission. If I don't have your permission, I'll cut your segment out. But yeah, we're going to continue with I think there's 3 people left, and that's the new link. So join that now if you can, and then I'm going to close this meeting and open that one up. Okay? Cool. Just leave, and that way I know everyone's aware. Okay, people are joining. Well, I guess people could probably join this chat, this Google meeting, either way. There we go. Cool. I think the next person is going to be Damilola. Am I pronouncing your name? I'm so worried about pronouncing your guys' names because it's very international. And
yeah, you can just call me Dami, Dami.
I get the privilege of calling you Dami. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Okay.
Cool, man. The stage is yours.
Just gonna share.
Go for it.
Just gonna share my screen. Okay. Can you see this? Yeah. How do I? But I can't see my. Can you see yourself while presenting, or like, does it matter? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so this is my project. This actually, like, so it's part of my school project, but it's like so I went a different path for my term project. So this specific ending is for this challenge, if that makes sense. But I took it from the context of my university project. So yeah, my name is Damilola Fadun. I'm a second year studying at Cambridge University. And yeah, this is a community market in a community near Cambridge. It's called Mill Road. And it's really vibrant, diverse, lots of elders and young people living there, students, etc. So yeah, I kind of took that inspiration and decided to take the function and program of a market space outdoors, and how would that look like in a physical manifestation of architecture, if that makes sense. So I took lots of so this is like I took inspiration from this market space in Barcelona by Enric Morales, and I like the color and like the vibrancy it brings to that space as a whole. It really represents that different people, strangers coming together, and like lives crossing over for a second. So I'm trying to really represent that in architecture. So I went for a lot of iterations, but the main ones were this one. On the first floor, there will be like an area where it's like a communal space where after buying your food or like buying anything, you can sit down with other people, socialize. So that side is ideally meant to be more open, and I wanted it to be like one through arch curve. So like it represents that communal togetherness on the other side, and then on this side, each individual arch really emphasizes on the individuality of each business, if that makes sense. And then I decided to go with this one either, just reflecting the left side over to the other side, and I came up with this really. I also incorporated like a path to really, you know, we convince people to really go through that space. So this is from the interior space, from the first floor. You can really see how the space is transformed by this. I used the panel, the paneling on um, Grasshopper to create those. And yeah, it really lets natural light flood that space, interior space. And you also have that other side, will have this pattern, whereas on the outside, it's all individual vibrant colors, but on the inside, all the same pattern, if that makes sense. I also 3D printed as well. I used my Fab Lab at university to 3D print it. This is carbon fiber. So it was actually, you can see that it's not actually the same pattern because as you guys all know, like when you model on Grasshopper, it can really come with all this code and stuff when you're trying to take that STL file and 3D print it. So I just took the overall form and created this pattern on, I think it was AutoCAD Fusion or SolidWorks. And one of them, can't really remember. I got some assistance as well. So I just created a pattern on AutoCAD Fusion. That's just like one of the default patterns. So it's quite similar. But yeah, that's what I did as well. But yeah, there was lots of issues trying to get that Grasshopper model into 3D form. But yeah, got there in the end. The 3D printer I use is like, it comes, when you 3D print it, it comes in this like block of carbon powder, and you have to like brush off the dust like an archaeologist essentially to expose your model. You can see in this year, you can see how people can start setting off informal tents on the outside. So we see how the market function that goes on inside starts to spill out into the space that's adjacent to it. That's really why I did this extra form that's just sticking out, that goes against the pattern, to really activate that public space in front of it. And then this is what it looks like on the ground floor. And now that path just really is quite dynamic and leads all the way through the space, etc. And all these pods and spaces are stores for these individual business owners from that community. And these also act as structural elements um, to reinforce the first floor. So this project is actually taking an existing building and transform it into this space. So if I go to that first image, see the ground floor is like these bold solid lines that goes around it. This ground floor is an existing structure. So everything else is my extra structure. So it's adaptive reuse, transforming the space essentially. And yeah, this section just shows what goes on in here. And how that roof is extremely dynamic, really reflects that function that goes inside as well of the space. And yeah, coming to my script, it's really quite basic, nothing too complicated really. I took like most of this stuff, Brian, it was when I came to your class, the beginners class, and I learned quite a lot and just really playing around with it. So I could have probably, I took this image after, like it's all like, you can see it's all red and stuff because I went and take an image of the script after like ages. So obviously I've deleted lines and stuff. So that's why it's showing problems. But at the time it worked. It's not really organized like that, but you get the idea. I just created each arch on Rhino and just assigned it to a line and then divided the curves, create a line, loft them, and then the panels on that side. And yeah, really nothing too complicated. I mean, you could even model it on Rhino as well, but the Grasshopper just gave me like more flexibility if I wanted to edit and let because when I was going through each iteration, if I was just doing it on Rhino, I'd have to start all over again. But Grasshopper, I just assign the lines, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's me, to be honest. Yeah. Thank you.
You're in your second year, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, congrats, mate. I was not doing this in my second year. That's jokes. Yeah, I love the idea of hybrid modeling. I think it's I don't know, it's underappreciated. I don't think most of the times you have to do everything in Grasshopper. It just sometimes it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And I think your work is heavily focused on the concept behind it, and the fact that you're kind of able to integrate like this paneling Weaver bed plugin and kind of playing around with the frames and finding what you're essentially what you're looking for, and then taking it to carbon fiber. Why carbon fiber? Was it just a flex?
That's the only one that the Fab Lab has got at the moment. So
that's funny. That's hilarious. That's cool, man. It's so cool that you guys have access to that sort of machinery, and I'm glad you kind of use this as an excuse to kind of take it to there.
Yeah.
It's cool. No, I love it, and
Thank
I
you.
really like the idea behind having this like half like transparent, not transparent, like a pergola, sort of
Yeah.
in front of what would be your most useful or more solid space, and
Yeah.
building upon an existing like structure with a substructure kind of makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, I dig it, and the fact that you used Enrique Miralles
Yeah.
as
Oh, okay. Yeah.
your go-to man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a super fan of Enrique Miralles. Rest in peace.
Okay.
Rest in peace. But
Yeah.
I don't know. He's such an inspirational architect, and this work of his is insane. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to see that you're kind of following his example.
Yeah.
I think we can't be too ambitious and say, look, I have everything. I'm
Yeah.
completely original. I don't think
Yeah.
the idea of architecture is being original, but rather kind of interpreting other architecture and kind of making it your own, which I think
Yeah.
you've achieved in this, and it's cool, man. I dig it.
Thank you.
It's very
Yeah.
very cool.
There's obviously, like you said, doing this in second year, like not a lot of the tutors are in favor of it, and it's kind of like going against what they want. But
In what sense?
that's the only issue. What?
In what sense were they not?
Like, it's like um they're more traditional. They don't really like the curves and parametric stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's really
they're what
it's the concept.
they call themselves conservative, and I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really annoying, but yeah. I want to work for Zara. I did one day, so obviously need to design like them for me to have a chance at working there. That's the idea.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they probably felt a bit frustrated because they wouldn't know how to evaluate you on that aspect.
yeah,
No,
that's
I'm
the
just
issue.
glad that you're pushing yourselves to kind of forcing yourselves to kind of take another approach to design and using
Yeah,
hybrid methods instead of the typical floor plan extrusion,
yeah,
and then
yeah, exactly.
drawing
Yeah,
2D, and that's it. Here's my colorful architecture, and that's it. And that doesn't make much. I think we're evolving that essentially,
okay.
and it's cool, man. I really like this
Thank,
project. So congratulations, man. This is sick.
thank you very
This
much.
is very very cool. Yeah, I
Thank
dig it, man. I dig it. Thank you for sharing, mate.
you. Yeah, thank you. I learned a lot from your class as well.
Ah, man.
It was very worth it. Yeah, very, very worth it. That was the first time I paid for a course, and I was like, "This will be worth it." And it was. Yeah,
You're like, I want
yeah,
my money back. No, nah, this is
yeah.
cool.
It's really good.
Someone asked
Thank
me in
you.
chat, is this SLS printing?
SL. I don't know what that is.
No, neither do
What's-
I. I'm
Okay.
I'm a boomer, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I'll sort it out. I'll find out. Cool. I think who's left? Chris, Sir Chris. Are you alive, Sir Chris?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright. Some great projects, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, guys, Chris is I admire him. I'm a big admirer of him. He's a gym nut, grasshopper, designer, illustrator, everything. So take this guy
You
serious.
just put the pressure on me right then, have you?
I fucked it in it. No, that's cool, man. Take it away, mate.
Cheers. Well, there is a bit of a problem actually because I wanted to get the camera light on, so I'm not here. But in doing that, all my files are on my SSD, which isn't actually on here now. So I'm just gonna hope that I do have all the files to actually show what I've done. Let's just do that. Right. Where to start, I suppose. Right. So I would basically just over the last few months, I've been like, can you actually? No, I'm not sure. I'm not showing it. I'm showing my downloads file. Is that what it's showing now? Yeah. So basically, for the last few months, I've just been like sort of re-going over sort of my first year's sort of this project is a bit of a side thing. So this challenge came at a perfect time because it came to I was halfway through doing the first projects of the first semester in my first year of architecture. So it was good to actually be able to go about with this, like with sort of the idea. So as I was sort of just gathering sort of inspiration, because the site that's on it that I just modeled and I was using, well, obviously Rhino. This is sort of the existing sort of context of, it's called Brockholes. It's in Preston Nature Reserve, by Adam Khan Architects. So I was using that as a precedent, pretty much, to where they sort of have these shifted pitches, kind of skylights that was pivoted towards basically the orientation of the building to get obviously the more sunlight. So I kind of took that as a fundamental approach for, well, as a design principle for going forward. And the sort of the brief for it was, at that time, well, in the actual brief, was basically a kayak or canoeing club. So I didn't just want to replicate, say, the form of it, but I wanted to take sort of inspiration from the more invisible stuff, which the motion, but the bodily motion of a person that's performing, say, the kayaking. If you actually do scan the QR code in the study, I found one that, well, it's in the bottom right there. Yeah. It adds, what was it, sort of velocity by time of the cycles, and what I'd pretty much done in my script was divide that by 10, basically, like getting the peaks and getting the lows of it. And then from 450 to, like, what, I think I just rounded it up, I think, to like 550. So with the range of, like, basically I just put it as 1.5, as like 1.5 meter of alternating pitch heights. And then yeah, so yeah, that's where I got the idea of doing it by 10, just as percentage of each going along. And it is right next to the River Ribble. So it was, well, it's a kayak club, so it had to obviously host storage for kayaking, etc. And house also people that would be staying there, say, from, if it was a kayaking club from wherever, they could stay there. And these were the sort of the original sort of concept ideas on how I'd go about it, because I wanted to, with it has a walk path, which is like one of the main ones of the walk, like the walk paths that go around it. So I wanted to invite people to go through it. So that's where I got the idea of kind of splitting it down the middle, sort of having a walkway. But through that, I wanted to, I mean, I suppose I didn't really have to use that as like a sort of a pavilion type walkway going through it, because it's kind of a pretty much like a waste of materials. But I just wanted to test the theory of it, and this was obviously a good excuse to try and play around with a script that could express that. So I was thinking how exactly beforehand how I'm gonna already script it in the drawing phase. So this is the overall script. I think I got to about here, and then I thought, because it was all messy, and I was like, I'm gonna have to start cleaning it up, otherwise this is just gonna be an absolute ball later on. So I thought I'll start doing it around there, which I knew was just gonna get so big. Obviously, it's best to obviously do scripts that you can use over and over, but this is basically going to be a one-off script that's for its intended use. And basically, the script breaks down into individual parts, elements, features of the finished designs. That's about the script features. Each original point, hopefully, I can. Is it this? So yeah, here you can see the at the very beginning. Yeah, at the very beginning here, basically I split it into 5 segments along a line, of which the line would be split obviously into 10, which each point represented percentage of cycle completed in that, which was adjustable as a height itself, which everything of the script basically referred to those, I suppose, datum points, because they were pretty much elevation points at that point. So I'll just quickly let that run. So just to show how changing that would affect that, and then just showing quickly. I didn't end up actually adding that part in. And they're showing what parts could easily be adjusted. And that's basically one of the finished renders. Of it, another view. And I did a sump path, I think. Yeah. So it was interesting how I should have probably actually done a study of this to show how going through if say as a person performing the kayak was always at optimum sort of strength at every part of the cycle, sort of how each elevation point like sort of would change, and how just the aesthetic of the kind of just the appearances of these how it's like sort of a way of how, if it was just somebody that which were being realistic, was constantly at max strength, like how it would be like just complete extrusion and then drop. But this kind of shows that even just the bodily motion of performing sort of a kayak, or how it's like I think that better shows it in, is it this? Yeah, about how from the first cycle the optimum strength, and how it like slowly sort of falls down, fades down as the datum points go down, because they don't have as much strength, obviously, to perform as much velocity. I think, and this showing it as very gradular. I did also add in animation just to basically show another point of view. Let's show it again. Is there anything else? And that was just the section line showing from the original Brockhall's neighbouring, sort of for context, nature reserve, the original building, and how I kind of wanted to replicate it with these skylights as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think short and sweet.
Mate. What the fuck? That's sick. That's so sick. Like from the concept to the actual like presentation of it is insane, man. Like I can't wrap my head around like the time it must have taken you to get what you're looking for. Like with this type of design, before you even start, you're like, fuck, how do I even like approach this?
It were one of them where, you know, when you're just there at night and you're like, you have like a wave and you're like, right, I need to keep going now, otherwise if I stop and tomorrow comes, I'm gonna be like, it was one of them. I did most of the hard stuff probably in the first night, and then it came about with then that's when the struggle started. But yeah, majority of it was pretty much just
like I wouldn't know like where to pick up from, like like you have to be like super organized with this sort of script, just because of the quantity of lines and kind of
yeah.
And I think what probably happens to you is what happens to me most of the time, where if you don't if you stop, you're kind of, you shoot yourself in the leg, because it kind of gets crazy, or what you're like, oh crap, I should have done this before or this after. I don't know. Talk us a little bit through the thought process, like what was going through your mind when you were kind of building the script.
Well, I'll just quit the show again. It'll be easy for me. Right. Where was that video? Is it this one? So, where was it? Was it? I think it got to about. Was it this point? I'm trying to find a particular point to where. Oh yeah. So it was around here to where sort of the struggle sort of started because I'm trying to make sense of it to me. Let me go back. In fact, it'll be easier to show the animation again because it'll show where I probably got. So it was about. I think we were about here, where I did pretty much on the first night, because that automatically. It would be easy if I had the script, but I can't really get it. The idea originally was sort of the if I was going to do a pavilion sort of or not, there's the walk path for it. But I thought I'll obviously also answer sort of the brief to continue. So I answered all, ticked all the boxes. So I used that then just as to act it as basically a canopy, and I thought I'd carry it on basically. That's where this is basically like if so like a so it was basically just this square if so that I did originally, and I thought I'd keep pushing it on one side, so then that would get the sort of um, the wall for the storage and say rooms etc for people that would have been well for the kayak clubs, and I thought I'd mirror it, and I came across like an interesting way of doing this actually because I pretty much I got the original sort of lines if sort of contoured along, and I projected it along a plane, and then projected a surface upwards, and then cut that, and then that gave me a kind of floor between each sort of part or element or whatever you call it, because it's pretty much yeah, you can see here like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 basically like lots that I've based it off like data. Um, and so each one of these is actually a little different, but it's like projected down, so it's all level. Um, that was an interesting part of the script that I probably struggled with actually the most was how do I go about projecting this alternating heights from each point because they're at different heights. Look at it first through I forgot the name now for an elevation.
Yeah,
So it
I
was
think you smashed it with adding those pavilions on each side because it kind of produces the effect that the kayak is going through something.
yeah.
And that I think that was a smart decision, and it's cool, man. Like I'm just trying to break it down, but I'm kind of some bits kind of escape me, and which is cool, which is very cool.
So pretty much these bits were just the reference of the rock calls, so that's where the inspiration that comes from. But this part in particular was sort of the pavilion that's basically the points of well the motion of performing a kayak cycle
Yeah,
through a certain length, basically.
yeah. Someone asks this. I'm going to send it to you in the Google chat. So, Elena, I think it is. Yeah. I find it interesting how you put each input separately and then correct them. While personally, I just pick multiple points and move them on Rhino. Is there a specific reason why you
Yeah,
prefer setting everything up on Grasshopper?
I did do it. Well, I learnt a few things about obviously with managing the data through doing this, and one of them was I actually made it a lot longer than it probably needed to be. For example, where say all these points here, they could have probably just been like just one really, if I wanted to, and let's put a panel on selecting which point. So it could probably be a half amount shorter, but I think I just wanted it to be to where every single point of it is easily like adjustable, instead of it everything being set to one, which I know kind of defeats the point of it being parametricized. But as I was going through it, I just thought I'd just make it as customizable as possible, basically.
Yeah, I think we suffer from that syndrome of overcomplicating things because we feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I think Dami is asking something. Yeah. So how did you create the animation walk for a video? Lumion? Twin motion?
A twin motion.
Twin motion. What's the process from going from Rhino? So Grasshopper, Rhino, twin motion. Like, what's the?
Well, there's a few. You can either export it, well, highlight everything, export it as what do you call it? FBX, or you could just do Unreal Datasmith, which is probably the better way of doing it, because Twinmotion recognizes that better, I think, pretty sure. And literally that's it. But if you want to make it as customizable as possible in Twinmotion, it's best to give everything kind of a material, so it's you get more customability with it, easy and fast, like with that. So you're not having to select each individual part of it and assign a material each individually. You can just assign a material to it in Rhino and then collapse by material into Emulsion, and then you can just change it all at once.
Yeah, so it's similar to like the interplay between Rhino and Lumion, where you export as DAE, and it kind of links. That's cool. I've never used Twinmotion, so I've probably just butchered that. But yeah, it's interesting.
It's creeping up, I think. Twinmotion is making a comeback.
Is it a heavy program to like move,
No,
rotate?
not really. It's actually very friendly.
Is it like playing
Yeah,
Sims?
yeah, even simpler almost. Like especially doing vegetation, it's quite satisfying using it. It's so easy to do.
Yeah, that's cool. That's sick. Well, man, I'm impressed just by your patience and I don't know, man. This is just it's a lot. It's a lot, but I dig it. I dig it. I love it.
It looks probably more than what it is. I'd like to say I've made it bigger than what it needs to be, but it's
Yeah, I
quite
get
simple.
there's a lot of copy and pasting here, but it's the fact
Yeah.
that you're able to personalize every little detail, which I find like it's excessive, but it makes sense because it's kind of beautiful. And as I think someone said earlier, I'm not sure if it was in chat, where the scripts kind of become the art itself. It's like
Yeah, it is quite symmetrical.
it's cool. I like it. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is
Of course.
an eye opener, and I've told you once, told you twice. You got to make all your work on a website or something, or make it more public, and I'm going to share the crap out of it, as goes for everyone else's work as well. That's sick, man.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to actually do it.
You guys are legends. Like, I'm inspired. I'm scared, intimidated by
You're
you.
the pavilion-esque go at yourself. What's his name? Arteta or whatever. On the pavilions.
Oh, that's funny. Awesome, cool guys. If remember, you guys can ask questions in the chat as well, if anything pops up. And then I think we have our final participant who is present. There are a few other participants as well, but because of time, I won't share them here. I'll probably share them on my stories and on my site, and kind of give them the opportunity as well to kind of add a video or something if they'd like. And next we have Cesar. I think Cesar, do you speak English?
I can try.
You can try.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna work perfectly because my internet connection and also my skills with English. We will see how it goes. Okay.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah. Let's see first if I can handle how to share. Okay. Just tell me whenever you start seeing my screen. Okay, perfect. So I don't know. To me, the exercise, the challenge was, I don't know, just to spend some time with short of exercises you also do in, I don't know, some pavilions, some different composition, different scripts. So in this case, I was just finding time to finish this like in one day, maybe one weekend, in order to put these things together and being able to share them. And basically the building itself is some sort of pavilion, could be more looking like I don't know, perhaps it could be the concept first sketches for an airport, or who knows, I don't know. The inspiration I took was from some airports I've seen on internet, some, I don't know, Gaudi schools next to Sagrada Familia, also the Miralle Santa Catarina's market, which is quite popular here, as I've seen already. And for me, this is more like a way to practice my skills in my daily routines. I'm not capable to work as much as I would like to work with Grasshopper. So on my free time, I just play a little bit, just like all of us, I guess. So the approach for this script wasn't that complex. First, I wanted to play a little bit with the roof. Once I sort of have this type of roof shape, like as you can see, they are not matching each other. It's quite static. It's symmetric. It has some kind of very typical rational uh, guidelines, but then when you start playing with parameters, you can see how curves made it more perhaps more attractive. So for me, just this was just the one of the multiple results like we can achieve with the, the script itself. And you can play around with some other compositions, make different type of groups. So that's the magic of all of these scripts, right? Let me try to show you the script itself in a more structured way. Maybe I would hide this and start selecting the building itself is quite simple. I just create a grid and copy it, and I don't know, see where I could go with it. Uh, you can just increase it or decrease it. I don't want to make it crash. I don't know how many iterations my computer can handle right now. But basically, once you start seeing how it works, is just moving the grid itself. Then at some point, I decide to make the center wider to make it some kind of entrance on this side, or imagine something like that. And well, as we can see here, I just created the main lines that will produce the curvy shapes on the rooftop. Uh, I also played with more when I was moving the points on the curve. I was playing with the different graph mappers in order to create different shapes. When you combine them, you can. I split the script in two lines. One would be for the modules on the sides, and another one in the middle would be for the center. The script so far is not perfect. Of course, it will need much more development to make it useful. But I don't know. Just for the exercise of this challenge, I thought it was quite enough. Like, I don't know, to see how other people work, and also to take part myself as a participant. Um, okay, so once we had the roof, I just create two section planes to create the perimeter, project it to the ground, and start the same process with the elevations. And as you can see, not all the here it's already cracking somewhere. I don't know where I touched, so this is just the same script but without without destroying it. More or less, this is it. When you ask me to produce some images with it, I don't know. In the same way I played with the grasshopper itself, I went to see if I can discover somehow the way you Brian, you make all the pavilions you do, and this is what I could discover. This is sometimes the part you keep for yourself, and I understand it. It's kind of the signature also. I don't know. I just discovered that perhaps you could use some easy to make noise textures, V-Ray for the rendering, and I don't know, just producing some images that could work not as good as yours for sure, but I don't know, it could be some fun to make it. And the last part would be the, the small video to showcase the exercise itself. So more or less, that's it.
Very cool. I love it, man. Did you I think you told me perhaps that this was a little bit inspired also in Santiago's winery in Alava?
Sure, sure. I mean, all these. I don't. You can still see my screen, right? Uh, it's
Yeah.
yeah. As
Yeah,
you
there
can
we go.
see, these elevations are all of them
It
is.
it really reminds me of the graph mapper. I don't know what type it is. It's like a sine wave, but you have like one bigger wave than the other.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Composition is quite simple. The repetition is what makes it cooler, in my
Yeah.
opinion. As you can see also these waves. These ones are more irregular. I don't know. Barajas also has these kind of waves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
This airport is beautiful.
Kunming Airport for the elevations. You can see also this type of
Yeah.
elevation ideas. More or less, this is
Yeah.
everything. Mm-hmm.
Like I really like the fact that it's a suggestive design. Like my what I always try and do with my designs is not to create a finished product, but to kind of experiment and say, look, this is what
Yeah,
like this design here, what you're looking at is suggestive enough for you to kind of make it yours as well, and to add more or to make it less. I think it's perfectly in the middle where you can make this more complex or simplify it. It's like I really like this one because it's suggestive. Like it's so suggestive. It's like you can see this being an airport. You can see this being a sort of like a really big like pavilion, winery, so many different things, and it's cool because it kind of gives you the place to kind of define what you interpret it as, and it's really cool in that sense.
more or less that was the idea. I mean, not to have something finished, but something that somehow inspires you in the same way. I don't know. That's what you do always with your streams and with your posts, right? Is I don't know,
Yeah,
something to enjoy, as you said.
yeah, and it's cool because I really like long ago I saw like a little documentary on Da Vinci and how sometimes he would start drawing and then halfway through the drawing he's like, oh, I know I can finish this, so I'm just going to leave it here and you guys can interpret.
Yes,
And it's cool
yes.
because it's like this script is super defined, like it's very it's worked. You can see there's a lot of work behind it, but I just love the fact that you can add more if you want, or if I were to continue the script, it could be completely different on how someone else can interpret or continue the script. And yeah, and it's cool. It's so you use 3D Max to render, right?
Yeah, actually, I come from visualization background. I learned first how to make renders with V-Ray and 3ds Max than Grasshopper. For me, this is just some of my attempts to change a little bit.
No, it's very good, and it's cool because people. I don't think people appreciate people who are able to kind of cross different platforms. So I'm aware what you did with the water, with the noise, and then like having to subdivide the geometry to kind of compensate the noise, and then the reflection. Like it's not. Sometimes the hard part is also rendering, and it's an art form as well. So it's very satisfying to see the results even on a render, and it's cool. I always love a good reflection, so so I'm a big fan of that as well. This is very, very cool, and your English is amazing. Like
Biggest challenge for me here, I think that was.
No. It's amazing. Yeah, you should hear my Spanish. It's not as good as your English. So it's cool. It's very cool to see. Very multidisciplinary people here, and it's very cool to see. Yeah, and I'm happy with your result, man. I'm just happy that you participated. I know you were a bit nervous and kind of doubting like the time issue, but I think you achieved it bang on. So it's very, very cool stuff to see. Very, very cool. So yeah, you're the lucky last person to present today.
Yeah.
I've loved every single presentation. I'm kind of feeling like an imposter right now, seeing your guys' work. Your patience and your skill sets are insane. Like the way you guys are able to interpret a design concept and kind of make it your own is cool. It's cool to see because I think we all have different approaches. You can tell what people are more closer to, the affinities of each person. So some people are more about the design and the architecture. Some other people are about the interactions between people. Other people are more focused on 3D printing, like specific on small scale rather than big scales, like designs on nature. It's really, really inspiring to see like these different mindsets and how you guys are able to interpret different things using the same software. And I think that's like the best part of it all. So this is really cool, and yeah, this has been an eye opener, and I'm very glad we've had this edition of Paramchallenge. The winner, or I don't really like the idea of winner because in this sense everyone have their fortes, and I don't think it's fair to say this person did better than the other because it's not really the intent behind this. Really isn't to say who's better or who's superior. It's more about sharing the experience and seeing that people are also kind of designing just because they want to design. You know, there isn't really a goal of I'm gonna do this so I can win. It's more like, cool, this is an excuse for me to participate in something that I enjoy doing. So that's really cool to see. So I will be announcing a winner this weekend. I'm just going to have a little bit more time to kind of go over everyone's presentations and also what people have submitted, and then I'll kind of get to a verdict this weekend, make it public, and with your guys' permissions, I will be sharing on my Instagram and also on my website for at least some time, and then everything with your guys' permission, and it will be really cool to kind of make it public and for you guys to kind of share around as well. So with this, I'm going to close the stream. I'm glad that we had this. It's really cool, and yeah, I dig it. I'm going to share the stories soon, and if you guys have any questions or if you guys ever want to get in contact about anything, please do. I'm here all the time, and yeah, thank you guys for joining. And if this is it, if there's no questions, no comments, no anything, we'll drop it here, I guess.